upright position as the blue Protoss player, we do have White Ra. So let us know in chat if you think White Ra is going to be taking this game. And in the lower left position, we do have the red Zerg player. It isn't MTW anymore. It is just Dimaga. And let us know in the chat if you think he's going to take it. Of course, Daybreak is the map of choice. There is these unbuildable plates at the bottom of the ramp. So anyone thinking, oh my god, there's the chance the White Ra could 3 pylon block. No, it's the updated one for Heart of the Swarm. And Lurlian, what do you think we could be seeing?
I think we're going to see 2 Ukrainians go at it for a pretty big prize pool. I believe it's £170.
It is.
Yeah,
it's £170.
So that's like 350 euros. No, I'm just kidding. But pounds, of course, worth a little more than euros. So it's going to be like 230 in euros. I'm actually not sure on the math. I'm sure someone in chat is already, going to Google and Googling it and is going to be providing us with the exact amount of money in euros, US dollar, and even Korean currency. What's the Korean currency?
I should know this.
It's
I do know this.
It's a W.
You've caught me off guard. You've really caught me off guard now.
It's a W, isn't it? It's like 1, isn't it?
Something like that. Something like that, indeed. Anyway,
that's the only thing Maddles did not have in his notes. What the Korean currency is.
I have everything else. I have everything else ready for the matchup, but you did not ask me to prepare for that. Nobody was like, you need to know the different currencies of the world. My goodness. I just pay by PayPal. That way, it does it for you. It's all good. So, currently, out of White Ra, we've got a Nexus first, which is perfectly safe to do on this map. Dimaga, he's got his spawning pool into his hatchery. Now, I'm going to blow the big secret of this best of 9 out. I'm thinking we're going to see White Ra make oracles. He really likes oracle harassment early game. I've seen him on his stream do it heavily against Evil Genius's Idra, which was a few days ago. He was playing a lot of games, practice games on his stream against him, and he went Oracle pretty much consistently. He also takes a quick third base very frequently, so I'm going to be keeping an eye out for the signs of those things happening. His Mothership core usually comes out around about the kind of 40 supply mark, so we'll wait to see if that happens. For Dimaga, he's got a bit more varied play from what I've seen. He likes lots of things, but you were saying before the cast started actually that you saw in his stream today that he was going very Viper heavy in all the matchups.
Yeah, it was playing with a lot of Vipers, especially against Terran, of course. Immobilizing, well, not immobilizing, but making the siege tanks useless with that blinding cloud is something that he's been doing all day, all night. Well, actually not all day, all night on his stream. I was actually watching IM. IM. And I also had Dimaga's stream open just in the background, and all of a sudden I was like, where's this sound coming from? But Dimaga started streaming, and I was like, oh well, IEM has got some sound issues. And after 30 minutes, I realized Dimaga started streaming, and I had it open in one of my other 20 tabs.
That always confuses me when you have loads of tabs open and someone starts streaming, and then you're like, where is this sound coming from? I did not open anything, and it's all very confusing. But let's take a little look at what these two are doing. We've got the 2 gas from White Ra. If we see a 3rd gas, it's very likely that we'll be getting the Stargate play coming out. He has got his Cybercore nearly finished up. He hasn't started any of the ground upgrades yet, so that's all fine. Now, the one thing you can sometimes see Dimaga go for, rather White Ra go for, is either the Mothership core first, in which case he delays his Stargate tech, or he just goes straight into the Stargate and then gets the Mothership core later. Obviously, that's slightly more risky if there's early aggression, but it does mean that he gets the Oracle out faster. So those are the sort of things I'm checking for. He is getting the Stalker as well. He's already got the Zealot moving across the map. Meanwhile, for Dimaga, he's getting up his first 2 gas of the Naturalist. 3rd base is now up. There goes the Stargate for White Ra. So Oracles, as predicted, that's fine. Usually his follow-up to this is he gets a 2nd gateway and gets a bit of a ground force going in as well. So it goes for multi-prong attacks. So I'm hoping we see that, because that's really been difficult for a lot of the players he's been up against to deal with.
Yeah, White Ra plays such a unique style with those double Stargates, and Zergs have struggled. I remember seeing a show match on this map where White Ra played Ret not too long ago, completely stomped Ret. Ret didn't really know how to handle... he didn't know how to handle the Oracle harass. 4 Oracles basically flew into his base and killed 20 probes in a blink of an eye. Then they flew to his 3rd base, killed a few more. Then White Ra produced a few Void Rays, expanded to his 3rd, added in a few of those gateway units, a few Stalkers, Sentries, Zealots beneath them. And you have such a powerful army. Hopefully, Dimaga is going to be a little bit better at dealing with that than Red was a while ago when that show match happened. Of course, Red wasn't playing that much Heart of the Swarm, and Dimaga's playing a fair bunch.
Indeed he is. Now, this third base coming down for Waira is really quite substantial, because the thing about it is it came down exceptionally early, even for him. Usually, the games I've seen of him in Heart of the Swarm, he gets it around the 7-minute mark. That third base actually came down before that point, so really as early as you could possibly dare. We do have the Oracle on its way over now to come and do some harassment towards the main, and Dimaga hasn't prepared for it at the moment. He's only got the one queen there, so that is going to be pretty awkward, because obviously one Oracle can kill one queen in a straight-up fight, as we're about to see, and then it's just going to be 3 drones for Waira Lurlian.
Yeah, a bit of a slow reaction time here by Dimaga, but his queen is now here. Dimaga needs to pull that Oracle back. Ooh, 2 shots of that queen, and that would have been 1 dead Oracle. 6 kills on the Oracle, so that's going to make 1 queen and 5 drones. Good harassment damage done. We see the second Oracle now joining up, and Waira never added on a second Stargate. He is still on only 1 Stargate and now producing Phoenix.
He is, which is one of many follow-ups he has to this. He sometimes goes Voidways, but as you can see, he's very low on gateway units. He's literally only got those 2 gates as far as I can see. And as a result, he's not got very much defense for the third base, which is something that a lot of players do try to utilize against him. We see the Oracles are still harassing in the main base, though. And with the Spore Crawler down, 1 does die. Waira managing to get 5 drones so far, though. So, yeah, Voidway is now on the way for Waira, which means that he's got a good variety of units. 1 Oracle, 1 Phoenix, about to have 1 Voidway. The Voidway will help him defend this third base. Yeah, and 1 Mothership Core. He's like half of Noah's Ark of the Protoss.
He's making sure they... Well, actually, if you're making Noah's Ark, you need to have 2 of each so they can reproduce.
Indeed. Now, the Phoenix is being used really well here at the moment, because just picking off these Overlords for Dimaga, which is actually going to get the supply block, that is a nice little trick. And 1 Phoenix to do that is very, very potent indeed. And Dimaga, he's just responding to this early air with mass expansions, which is a good way to go, because if you're losing drones, but you're not really getting much threat of actually things that can kill your buildings, you may as well just make loads of expansions and get your production up. But yet again, this Oracle coming into the natural and getting a couple of kills on drones, and this harassment will no doubt continue for a long time, but Zergling's coming in Lurlian at the natural of Waira, doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, they killed a Stalker, killed a Zealot, maybe a Sentry. And now they're running into the third base, going to be focusing down a few workers. Not too many will be falling, though. Let's take a look at the worker kill tab. We can see Dimaga has killed 4 workers. Maybe going to get a 5th one with the last lings. Yes, he does get a 5th one and a 6th. So nice harassment damage done there, equalizing the worker kill tab a little bit. 10 for Waira, 6 for Dimaga, as it stands.
Indeed it does. Now, DT Shrine is on its way, as well as 2 more Stargates. So that means that Dimaga is going to be going full air toss, which is a very strong composition. It's very effective. You've got a good variety of things you can get out. You can get out the Voidways, you can get out, of course, carriers, you can get even Tempest, another one of the new units, so it can be very difficult to deal with. And Dimaga needs to get a good number of Corruptors out if he's going to effectively combat that.
Corruptor, very powerful unit in general, and it works really well together with the Swarm host. So maybe we're gonna see Dimaga implore that strategy. As for right now, I don't believe he's made any tech. Oh well, he does have an infestation bit. Sorry, missed that for a second. Has not got any upgrades on the way just yet. No enduring locusts upgrade yet. And it's not going to be the Swarm host. It looked like he is researching Pathogen Glands right now, so he's going to stick to a bit more of the standard metagame, it looks like. Going to be going with the Infestors, as they are super popular in the Wings of Liberty metagame right now.
I think it's actually a good choice. I've seen Dimaga do it quite a lot, and the reason it works well is because he gets an awful lot of infested Terrans, and if Waira doesn't get out High Templar with Storm, he's unable to deal with them effectively due to not having any splash damage, and it allows Dimaga to effectively combat pure air toss, in addition with these Corruptors who are already doing a great amount of damage as we see. But in come a lot of Banelings, a lot of Speedlings, and this very small ground force, Waira is getting taken down very quickly. Suddenly the third base probe line could take a lot of damage, but the Banelings are just never ending. Baneling speed now kicking in as well, and of course we are just seeing this third base get decimated by Dimaga.
Yeah, Waira investing into those extra Stargates. He didn't really reap the benefits from them just yet. Has a few DTs out on the field that are cleaning up the links slowly. Still has his 3 bases alive. That's actually really surprising to me. I saw the amount of Banelings and I was well, almost sure that they were going to be able to take that third base out. So maybe things are not as bad as they seemed for Whiterun. Whiterun still has all his probes alive, still has 75, has his third base alive, and still has those 3 Stargates, has his Void Ray production. That could have been way, way worse. That was actually pretty good for Whiterun, I'd say.
It could have been way, way worse. I have no clue at all how that third base managed to survive. That's absolutely... It's a combination of luck and skill. It lies somewhere in the middle of the two. But as we see, Dimaga is getting up the Ultra Cavern, and this is a good transition. Getting those Ultralisks up, they are ever so strong in Heart of the Swarm now. The only concern I have, though, is... Obviously, you do have to be concerned of a mass air transition, because if a lot of Void Rays come out, those Ultras are clearly not going to be effective against Void Ray. So you have to balance out the Ultras with, of course, Corruptor, and also a handful of Infestors. So I don't reckon we'll see Dimaga get too many more Infestors. He's already got 8 out. Probably quite a few more Corruptors if he sees more of a commitment from air from White Ra. And just the Ultras to clean up the small ground force, which, when you think about it, at what Wings of Liberty game would you see a 15-minute PvZ where the Protoss player only has 7 Zealots and 4 Archons on the ground?
Yeah, that never happens, actually. We can just straight out say that right now. The Void Rays, of course, being changed in the beta to be a lot more effective overall. They're just more of a good unit to have in your army than they have ever been, being with the, you know, on-demand charge that they used to gain very slowly, and their changed mechanics just makes them way better to have in your army. They can actually deal good DPS to single targets right now. In a big army, they can actually kill Zerglings quickly. They used to be super bad against Zerglings. They used to be absolutely useless in dealing with Zerglings. Right now, they're still bad at it, but they're not as bad as they used to be.
Indeed, they're not. Now, what I do really like from Whiterun is outside his third. Have you seen this massive wall off he's gone for? That's keeping him safe from speedling attacks, and it was one of the things that he was actually getting a lot of pain from when he was practicing against Idra a few days ago, was just speedlings and even just some roaches coming in towards his third base. And when you go very air heavy, you're vulnerable before it gets up to the sort of larger army size, just due to, in a very similar way to how mech operates, that if a push comes when you're not maxed out, you can die very easily. So I like the fact that Whiterun's made an adjustment and is getting that good wall off there.
Yeah, he's very safe at his third base. His fourth base in the middle of the map has a lot of cannons there too, but he only has 1 pylon that I can see powering all those cannons. So bit of an old school Artosis pylon there. Dimaga still swarming around the map, looking for a good angle to attack. Checking that 5th base. Has Whiterun taken that? No, he has not. And I'm on 5 bases, so I can feel pretty secure about myself right now. And I think this is going to come down to that one big battle. We did see a fleet beacon go down, so we could see those Tempests. Whiterun not afraid to mix in the Tempests, but it looks like Dimaga does not want to wait for Whiterun to get any kind of Tempest out on the field. He is going for it. The Void Rays decimating the front line of Corruptors. And are the Infested Terrans going to be good enough to deal with those Void Rays?
Well, it appears that they are, with a great set of chain fungals coming down from Dimaga here. He's able to deal a lot of damage, but unfortunately all of those Infested Terrans have got cleaned up. It just wasn't quite enough, but the Ultras are still pushing forward, but of course the Void Rays are going to be able to deal with them very quickly. The Prismatic Alignment, of course, the damage boost to Void Rays, which is now an activated ability, doing huge amounts of damage, and Dimaga is responding perfectly to this. He's seeing just how much of a commitment Whiterun has gone to Void Ray right now, and is getting out 23 Corruptors. That is essentially the best thing you can do right now. There is the Fleet Beacon down somewhere, I'm trying to locate it, but of course there's no sign yet of carriers or anything like that.
No carriers. I think would be a bit less likely to see carriers and a bit more likely to see Tempests from the way that Whiterun plays PvZ right now. We see Dark Templar are around the map trying to do some harassment damage, cleaning up creep tumors here and there. But Dimaga is on the job, kills the Observer, kills the DT. And now we see another Warp Prism out of Whiterun move into the 4th, or actually the 5th base of Dimaga, but there's so many spores and spines here. He's not going to find any angle to do a good amount of harassment damage to Dimaga. Dimaga really safe from harassment. He has spores and spines everywhere.
Which is really what you've got to do against Whiterun, because he likes harassment. It's not even uncommon for him to get some oracles later on to come in and harass, but as we see here now, the 4th base for Whiterun is under a massive siege. So many Void Rays, so many Corruptors. It is a mass air-on-air fight, but all of the probes getting cleaned up by Banelings while this battle for air dominance is going on. But the Void Rays are indeed winning it. incredibly convincingly, it seems, and now the ground force for Dimaga has got to do serious damage, otherwise he's going to be in problems as those Void Ray count starts rising.
Dimaga also taking some damage at his third base. The Zealots are harassing there. White are doing some good multitasking, trying to defend against the Banelings. The Banelings get some good connections with the probes. Their probes dying left and right, and White is trying to get to places, but like we said, Void Ray is still really bad at dealing with Zerglings because Zerglings are super fast, Void Rays are super slow, and even though they can kill Zerglings at an okay rate right now, they still have to be able to reach them to be able to make them dead, and that's something we don't see happening right now. The third base has fallen though, so Dimaga does take a little bit of counter damage.
He's also got DTs and Zealots in his natural base. Dimaga tried to save that third with a money transfuse, but unfortunately did not go down in time. So because of that, we saw obviously Dimaga lose a hatchery, which is never going to be too fun, but he's got some spare ones just lying around. So it is a 3-base Protoss who's only actually mining out of one of them at the moment due to having so few probes, down at 19.
19!
Compared to Dimaga, who's at 75 drones, mining off of 3 and a bit bases. But Waiwa, he's coming in for aggression, he's at half the supply, so he's got to do some amazing damage. With the Hydra count looking good, the Void Ray count though looking incredible at 12 of them. And Lurlian, this is just some insane damage potential from the Protoss player here.
Big risk taken by Dimaga there. He knows how crippled White is right now. He knows White lost so many bases, lost almost all his workers. There's no reason for Dimaga to move out on the field with such a small army. And I think he realized that. He saw the army of Void Rays and he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit back and macro up a little bit more before I try to venture out on the map and might lose, because Void Rays are pretty powerful in their current state. And Zerg players aren't used to Void Rays being this good. So they're not going to expect to be that this group of Void Rays can be such a huge danger as they are.
Well, the thing is, the thing you'd normally try and do is get the Corruptors out, as we saw Dimaga do, but unfortunately, the Prismatic Alignment active ability on Void Rays now allows them to do +6 damage versus Armored, so Hydras are actually a very good choice against them if they get up into good numbers. But here, Waiwa coming in, sniping off the Hive, and then just doing a quick recall back, keeping all of those Void Rays alive. That is absolutely epic, is all I can say.
That was a really good recall. Only lost 1 Void Ray in the process there and did some good damage. But, you know, I say good damage, but what has he really done? He denied gas mining out of 1 Vespian Geyser that had 650 gas in it. And all the tech structures are already down. There already is a Greater Spire. There already is an Ultralisk Cavern. So Dimaga really not that hurt by that snipe, even though it was a nice recall. It was oh no, all the High Templar! Oh my god, they all die to a few Banelings. And that is seriously weakening the army of White right now, but it might still be enough. These Void Rays, man, they are powerful. They're starting to die left and right. More Infestors going to be coming in here. GG gets called by White. There are too many Hydras for the new powerful Void Rays.